the live for Sunday, March 29th. I had to look at my phone to check the date. And it is Palm Sunday. That much I know for sure because of the scandal that occurred, that unfolded before our eyes today in Jerusalem. I was not intending to write about this, but that is what happened. That's how it all played out. So anyway, I am going to give a chance for people to get online. And what was I going to do? Okay, this I want to open. I'm just setting up some things here. And this person, this one, let's see. And last but not least, guys, you can start chatting and saying hi and stuff like that. I have to say it's been great with this little community here that we have like built virtually. Hello, Carol and John. Welcome. Welcome. So, guys, I have some surprises for you today, just like President Trump, who said that he received a few presents from Iran. But this is a little different because I can't actually gift you this because we're, too far away. But you'll see, you'll get to be a part of it. But anyway, hi, Bethany from Southern California. Okay, we've got both coasts represented now. We have New York and Southern California. Very cool. Guys, I don't know how to characterize this day. It was confusing. It was all unintended. It was raining, and it was only supposed to, according to the weather report that I read, it was only supposed to rain until noon, and it ended up pouring all day long. If they hadn't canceled Palm Sunday, it would have been washed out anyway. And I know you're probably saying, wait, they canceled Palm Sunday. Yeah, that is actually part of what I am going to talk about today. So let me go to my notes. And I mean, we'll talk a little bit about the actual war before we get to the holy war. So today there were a few sirens here in Jerusalem, a few Iranian missiles launched this way, but also primarily in the south, where there was some pretty bad damage done, including to some sort of chemical plant where they said that they were concerned about a leak of hazardous materials. But in the end, they said, oh no, there's no concern about that right now. There were probably a dozen people wounded in that one. That was like in the Beersheba area. And then as for Iran, Israel said it carried out just today. I'm looking for the exact number. I think it was something like 140 strikes. So over the past 24 hours, the Israeli Air Force carried out more than 140 strikes on infrastructure sites of the Iranian regime, including ballistic missile storage and launch sites, which pose an imminent threat to the state of Israel, among other aerial defense infrastructure. In parallel to the 3 waves of strikes carried out in the last 24 hours across Tehran, the Israeli Air Force, acting on IDF intelligence, continued to strike infrastructure sites of the Iranian regime across central and western Iran. Now, what does Iran say about that? Because this is the Israeli report. Like I've said in the past, any country that's putting out a statement, it's going to be positive to their own military and their own own country. So now Iran, they are playing the eye for the eye. So you're going to attack our steel plants and our aluminum factories. It's not just about nuclear. It's also about these other, these other industries that are extremely vital to the economy. So they said yesterday, like, if you're going to attack these in our country, which is what has been happening, then we're going to attack yours. And it not just in Israel, but also across the Gulf. But they said that they attacked the Imal aluminum plant in the UAE, the Alba aluminum plant in Bahrain, with missiles and with UAVs in response to the infrastructure attack in Iran. They also said there was an attack by Israel also on the University of Science and Technology in Tehran. And so what does Iran say? All Zionist and American universities have become legitimate targets for us. So then all across Israel, that would be any university in Israel, and then across the Gulf, that would be there's an American university in Lebanon, and I'm sure there are others similar in Saudi Arabia, in the UAE, in Bahrain. So they said that that's it. You attack our university, we're going to attack yours. You attack our steel, we're going to attack yours. And then today we saw that there was a plant that was hit in Beersheba. So it looks like they knew it. I mean, looks like they knew what to aim for and that they got it. So let me see. Hi, Bernadette. Yes, from Colorado. Thank you for joining and thank you for writing. Hey, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, well, actually Facebook too, it can't hurt, but please hit the like button, and that would definitely help this get into the algorithms over there, over in YouTube land. These things I don't totally know about, but I've heard other creators say that, and they probably know better than me what they're talking about. So I would really appreciate that. Okay, so here is some more between U.S. Iran, some more stuff I collected, that the U.S. Department of Defense is preparing options for ground operations in Iran, which would fall short of a full-scale invasion, but could involve thousands of troops and take weeks or months. The Washington Post reported last night. So, according to the report, which cited unnamed American officials, U.S. President Donald Trump has not greenlit any of the plans yet. He's probably still, counting days till, making up negotiations with the Iranians, as he has been doing. Like, I'll give you 5 days. Oh no, wait. Oh, you want 7? I'll give you 10. Oh, you only have 48 hours. Oh, wait, you gave me some gifts. Thank you very much. Of course, the Iranians deny any gifts. There is some guy that is widely interviewed. I don't know his name and I don't know his position, but he shrugged that off with these gifts that President Trump was talking about. He said that it wasn't. He said it was just like the normal flow through the Strait of Hormuz. So, the Strait of Hormuz / Strait of Trump, according to what he said yesterday, he's going to be renaming. I mean, it depends how long he does have as president. The entire world might just be renamed, the planet of Trump. It might actually get to that point. But he somebody said something, we're talking about, like, what is the end game of the war? Like, what is the U.S. end game? What's Iran's end game? What's Israel's end game? What about the Gulf states? How do people want to see the war end, and what does that mean to them? And there's some people are saying, like, oh, open the Strait of Hormuz, it must be open. And somebody said, well, it was open before the war. So it was actually open. And then you got it closed because of the war. And now you want it open again. You have to do that through force. Okay, so going back to this report, the White House was asked for comments about the report, and they said the Pentagon works to give the president maximum optionality, but that this does not mean the president has made a decision. According to the Post, potential operations could see a mixture of special forces and conventional infantry sent to conduct extended raids into coastal areas near the Strait of Hormuz, including seizing islands controlled by the Islamic Republic, and holding them for an extended period of time. Now, of course, we've spoken about Karg Island or Kharush Islands. I'm sure that there's got to be a better pronunciation there, but and people are talking about that, but we don't 100% know. Yeah, I mean, there might be another island also that they're looking at that hasn't made its way to the media yet. So now, what does Iran have to say um, about the U.S. entering by ground? Now, mind you, 13 U.S. servicemen have been killed and more than 300 wounded, according to these reports. So, what would happen? Ground wars always escalate the number of casualties. I mean, it's waging a war from the air, and especially when the air defense systems have been obliterated, so it seems, that Israel's been getting away with a lot. Also, the US has been in different theaters, not just in Iran, but also in Iraq and Saudi Arabia. But anyway, what would happen? Here's what Iran says. Now, mind you, these are from reports from Iranians and or from officials in Iran, unnamed. Okay. They say regarding a ground entry into Iran, they say they do not know what awaits them. Any American ground entry will first have to turn the land into a scorched earth. Now, moving to any naval battles, they say that Iranian naval forces have prepared surprises for the American fleet. They say 3 years ago, a naval commando fighter boarded an American ship and placed a sticker there. Do the Americans know how it happened? Let them wait. I don't know anything about this threat or this, but this is what they are saying. Also, you remember the Houthis? We said the Houthis have joined and they got involved. Although today I didn't see anything from them. I don't think there were any launches from Yemen. All the launches I saw were from Iran and also by Hezbollah in southern Lebanon. So, but they say that the Houthis have a specific target. They are the big surprise expected in this campaign. Now, it's not said here, but I have also heard that they will be involved in the naval campaign if it comes to that, or also, they're at the mouth of the Red Sea, whereas the other side is the Persian Gulf. So I'm not really sure what the specific threat is, except that they've saved him for this, is what they're saying. They've saved the Houthi involvement for this. Now, also, we've heard a lot about the Natanz facility, which is Iran's, one of Iran's nuclear supposed plants. They said it was attacked again, and they say there is nothing there. Like, they moved, like maybe they moved the stuff or whatever, but they just said that anyway, I don't know. That's what they're saying, that it was nothing. Okay, so flights, what does it matter? That's only Israelis stuck right now. Israelis got stuck in Jordan. I mean, yeah, that is a big deal because for some reason the Jordanian Aviation Authority changed some rules. And so then this Israeli airline that was operating out of Amman to get Israelis back in or out, I don't know. Suddenly they canceled all their flights. So like Israelis stranded in Amman, I don't know whether they were flying out or whatever, but that Israeli airline, Arkia, could no longer operate in Amman. So anyway, there was like pictures of Israelis in the Jordanian airport. Probably not the best thing, right? So, all right, I'm going to come back to the comments. Karen Davis, all the way. This is great. So we have America spanning from from sea to shining sea. And now we've got the north covered here from Haifa, and from a few blocks away, right over here. Hello to Lydia. Karen and Lydia, thank you for joining. This is awesome. Okay, so now there's some interesting developments, let's say, with the United Arab Emirates. There was a I told you about Otaiba. He's the ambassador to the U.S. He wrote yesterday that basically, like, this area needs to have a very clear direction after this war is over, because basically, reading between the lines, you cannot leave Iran with the kind of power that it has here, and basically because it's going to leave them, the Gulf states, unprotected by a very angry, very larger country right next to them. But here's some words from Dr. Anwar Gargash, who is an advisor to the ruler of the UAE, and he demands compensation from Iran from the damages of war. He says any political solution that addresses Iranian aggression toward the Arab Gulf states must include clear guarantees that will prevent a recurrence of future aggression by Iran, the enshrinement of the principle of non-aggression, as well as be based on compensation from Iran for harm to civilian structures, vital infrastructure, and citizens. Iran misled its neighbors prior to the war regarding its intentions and revealed aggression that was premeditated, despite the sincere efforts of the Gulf states to avoid it. Something that makes these two tracks essential in dealing with the regime that has become the central threat to the security of the Arab Gulf. That is a huge statement from the UAE. Now, while none of these countries have actually come out and retaliated militarily, their words are getting stronger and stronger against Iran. And it's probably motivated by the fact that it looks like maybe President Trump is leading this toward a closure, though it might still take weeks to arrive at. But just the fact that there is maybe some sort of end game being planned, they want to make sure that they are protected when this war is over, because they have come under serious attack. You know, the UAE, their civilians were killed in the UAE. Even a Palestinian from here was killed in the UAE by an Iranian missile. And I don't know if she was living there permanently, but her family was here, and actually I'm not even sure if she was buried there or here. But I mean, many civilians are getting killed. The foreign workers, which is actually a majority of the country in the UAE and the other Gulf states, but there was a foreign worker from maybe Sri Lanka or something. Anyway, I saw the story, like, where they interviewed a son, because, by the way, Sky News covers these kind of things. Like, the Israeli news is very concentrated on Israel. The US news is very concentrated on the US. And the channels that I follow are pretty good in terms of the Middle East. But Sky News was impressive, and they're based in England. It was impressive, like, for actually covering the interests and the broader situation for people, like, in the UAE and in the other Gulf countries. And anyway, I should probably put them on every so often again. But anyway, so yeah. Okay, now. Okay, what else? Oh, Kimra from Florida. Awesome. And hi, Cindy Lou, also from New York. We've got some New York representatives. That is awesome. And oh, I forgot, guys. I totally forgot that I can do this. Watch this. I just wrote Kimra from Florida. Thank you. And Cindy Lou, I'm going to say, coming to you from New York. I totally forgot about this new toy here that I could actually pop the comments up on the screen. So anyway, if you guys have any questions or comments about any of this, like feel free to put it in the chat. For the most part, I can definitely pop it into the screen too if you want. If you don't want me to, let me know and I won't do that. But then again, you guys can see each other's comments. It's just a matter of like actually a screen. So that's pretty funny. Okay. Oh, cool. Okay. Rhode Island is in the house. Hello, Emily. And hello, Bethany from Missouri. Oh my gosh, Rhode Island. Oh, I see what you said. If we were making states, yeah, why not? We should. I mean, America's too broad to just say I'm from America. And Kim from Alabama. Yes, thank you for catching me live. By the way, two of your friends, Jada or Jana, and was it Kirk? And was it Yamaguchi? Anyway, they joined in yesterday and that was really cool. So thank you, Kim. They're your friends, right? Because I know Callie has also, anyway. Okay. So, all right. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to see, I'm kind of, my notes are, I'm getting toward the end of my notes. So just a few things. We talked a lot about Lebanon yesterday. So I'm not going to go too much in depth because there isn't much new, and I never got a chance to read about Beaufort Castle, which I should have, and I just didn't have time. But Lebanon militias, what's happening? Oh, yes. So in Syria, Syria has located tunnels that were built between Lebanon and Syria that according to Syria were used for the Lebanese militias for smuggling. That would be like Hezbollah. Like they just didn't maybe say Hezbollah, but that's pretty crazy. And also I read, I don't have that information like at hand, that the IDF is also operating in that area and also knows about these tunnels. So yeah, now their land passages have been cut off because the current Syrian government is anti-Hezbollah, whereas the previous one under Assad was for Hezbollah, and Hezbollah had access. And also Iran, between Iran and Hezbollah, there was a flow of manpower and weapons and money and whatever else they trade, and that's how Hezbollah was extremely supported by Iran. And so now the question is how much they still have, and I don't know. Okay, so and for those of you who are wondering, they are, the Israeli army is still operating there and a lot closer to the Litani River. So yeah. Anyway, so that continues right there. Okay, so now I'm back on the. Oh yeah, Jane and Kirk. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Kim. It was Jane and Kirk and Marcia from Texas. You found me on October 7th. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow, that's crazy because I had like this big of a channel. It's only this big now, well, like from here to here. So that is awesome. That and I'm, we've had a lot of wars since then to report on. So this is from Carol. Thank you, Marcia from Texas. Carol says, Dad read, because by the way, when you see Carol, that would be my mother, that Israel attacked Hezbollah through Syria. So that's what I'm not 100% sure about, but it's possible. So I don't know exactly, but that is entirely possible that this is what this whole story is about. So, okay. Oh, wow, Marcia, thank you. Thank you for sharing the information. And by the way, if you guys are watching on YouTube, if you hit the like button, only if you like, I don't force, I don't lobby, but it could help the channel grow and gain more traction in the algorithm because it shows that people are interested and engaging with this content. So that would be great. All right. So now let us move on to the non-war. What am I saying? Non-war. It's the holy war. It's like we are going to veer right now from the US Israel war in Iran, and we are going to talk about the holy war that is sort of being waged over here in Jerusalem. And by the way, happy Palm Sunday to any of you who are celebrating or who had a chance. I would venture a guess that most people are watching, if you're a Christian, that this would be your Palm Sunday. I learned after I got to Jerusalem that there's a large Orthodox population here, and the Orthodox dates are different than the Catholic and Protestant dates for Easter, and also for Christmas. I mean, for a few of the holidays. So every year you've got to look it up. Like in America, there's like one Easter that is marked, even if your Orthodox friends are celebrating Easter separately. But there is this the one day, and it's the Catholic Protestant date for Easter. Over here, you've got a heck of a lot of Easter going on. You have, sometimes the holidays land very rarely, but they will land on the same day according to the calendars. But other times they could be as far as 5 weeks apart. So you would have the Catholic Easter would always come first, and that would be like, let's say, the end of March, beginning of April. And the Orthodox Easter was like in May, like the first week of May. And there's a lot of interesting reasons for that. And I'm totally digressing from the scandal that happened today. But I don't know what the Catholics use and the Protestants to mark Easter, but I will tell you that the Orthodox have a couple of stipulations, and it's like it has to be after the spring equinox, which is March 21st. And then there's another one, and then the third, which I don't remember the second one. And the third one is that it has to be follows the Jewish Passover, because they say that Jesus was, Jesus was observing Passover. And so what occurred has to be at or after Passover. Now, that's very easy to do here in Israel, because this is the Jewish state and they are observing Passover nationally. It's a national holiday. There is nothing open on that day. But the Orthodox churches use the Jewish holiday to date Easter. So it always has to follow. So this year we have like a 3-week glut of the Christian, Jewish, and then Christian holidays like lined up. I didn't make a calendar this year because I got swept up in war and everything, but usually I make a calendar so people who care could follow along. But what is happening is that because of the restrictions here in Israel, because of the war, there are a lot of cancellations and restrictions on gatherings. So if you like, they have a gathering, like you can have up to 50 people in one place, but only if there's a shelter nearby. So in the old city, and we've talked about this, there are no shelters there. Most people, like, my mother-in-law lives in the old city, does not have a shelter. Nobody in their Armenian quarter has a shelter. The churches don't have shelters. So the stores, like all the stores are closed. And today I actually started my day writing that article. I did some interviews yesterday in the old city about the closures and what's going on, how people are feeling, and also with the holidays, because many of them that I interviewed yesterday are Christian, and they're very upset about the lack of holidays, but also just the ghost town that is the old city. So I was starting to write that article, and then suddenly this happened, and I'm going to show you the article I did end up writing, which is right here. Palm Sunday dispute. I think I had scandal before, but they wisely changed it. That's good for YouTube title, probably not. an actual article. Israeli police prevent Latin patriarch from entering Holy Sepulchre for mass, sparking backlash. So Pierre Baptista, I always put a P in there. Pierre Battista Pizzaballa is also a cardinal and represents Catholics worldwide. So here's the archbishop. No, he's not the archbishop. That's an old caption. I'm going to have to tell them to update that. He's a cardinal now, which is like, you could be pope. You know what I mean? Like, from cardinal, the next step is pope. And his name was probably in there when they were choosing the last pope. He had just been elevated to cardinal right before October 7th. So it was like September 2023. I remember covering that. Anyway, the deal was they were going to allow him and one other person go to, oh, and by the way, Marilyn, hi, I just saw you pop in. They were going to let the cardinal go to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre and do a mass for Palm Sunday. He was going to be by himself with maybe, I think, just the custodian of the Holy Land, of the holy sites. The two of them were going to be there, and they were going to broadcast the mass to all the people who cannot go because of the restrictions. But as he was on his way, Israeli police barred the Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem from entering the Church of the Holy Sepulchre on Palm Sunday, drawing widespread condemnation over Israel's handling of the situation and sparking diplomatic shockwaves. Cardinal Pierre Battista Pizzaballa planned to broadcast Palm Sunday Mass this morning from the church at the heart of the Old City's Christian Quarter. But Pizzaballa and the custos of the Holy Land were compelled to turn back by police, the Latin Patriarchate said in a statement, calling it a grave precedent and disregards the sensibilities of billions of people around the world who, during this week, look to Jerusalem. As a result, for the first time in centuries, the heads of churches were prevented from celebrating the Palm Sunday Mass at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, the statement said. Since the war began, the churches have complied with restrictions, the statement continued, but had made arrangements for Palm Sunday to broadcast, as I was saying. Israeli police argued that the request was denied in advance. And basically they're saying, well, he should have known and he shouldn't have tried. And they said all holy sites have been closed, except for the Western Wall is open now. But anyway, the damage was already done before the police statement. I mean, I asked for the police statement. I waited a couple hours to get it. In the meantime, Italian Foreign Minister Antonio Tajani summoned Israel's ambassador over the incident, and Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni said the move constitutes an offense not only to believers, but to every community that recognizes religious freedom. A human rights lawyer that I interviewed here said the Sunday morning incident underscores that restrictions are not enforced equally. The prevention of the cardinal's entry today indicates that the intention is not to protect the safety of worshipers, but rather to prevent Christians from accessing their holy sites, a practice that began several years ago, restrictions on the number of entrants to the Holy Sepulchre during Easter, and continues today, said Abir Jubran. She said restrictions imposed on Arab residents and Arab-owned stores in the Old City don't apply to the Jewish quarter. The police, she says, have prevented Arab residents who do not live in the Old City from entering it and have unlawfully closed Arab-owned stores. However, Israel allows prayers at the Western Wall with up to 50 worshipers and prayers at Wilson's Arch near the Western Wall, as well as Jewish entry to the Jewish quarter. The Jews don't get stopped from going in, but Arabs are getting stopped. If you go through, like, let's say Newgate and any other gate that is more on the, like, the Christian quarter and the Muslim quarter, the police are there to ask for your ID. Whereas if you walk through Jaffa Gate, which is more like where the Jewish access, or Zion Gate, they're not asking for ID. And anybody who is Jewish, looks Jewish, is going into the Old City. We saw that on Shabbat, on Saturday. Did you want to add something?
Yeah, don't forget about Rachel's tomb.
Oh my gosh, thank you. Oh, I should have downloaded the picture. Oh my gosh. So, okay. Basically, you can read the article. I uploaded it to Facebook. Oh, whoa, what did I do here? Did you guys see what I did? Wow, wow, when you switch programs, you do crazy things. Okay, so I'm going to add the link here and you can read the rest of the article. And if you're on Facebook, the article is on my page. But this set off shockwaves throughout Israel. You can see that so many people, Israelis, commented right away, and they're like, "Whoa, this does not sound good." So anyway, this was our little bit of a holy war. But because of the international backlash, Prime Minister Netanyahu released a statement saying that there was no malicious intent, only concern for his safety, speaking specifically of the Latin of the patriarch. And he said, however, given the holiness of the week leading up to Easter for the world's Christians, Israel's security arms are putting together a plan to enable church leaders to worship at the holy site in the coming days. Now, I should have put this in the article.
What?
Rachel's tomb.
Oh, you didn't?
I didn't put it. Did I? Maybe I did. And I just, well, hold on, guys. Let me see. Oh, I did. I did put in the article. Look at this. In addition, a photo shows a mobile bomb shelter being installed next to Rachel's tomb to allow Jewish worshipers to pray at the site. Okay, so all of the Christians were crying foul at this, and they said, nope, we don't accept this. And you're putting bomb shelters for the at Jewish sites, and you're allowing the Jews to go to certain places to pray. So you've got to do the same for the Christians. And also, Abir, the lawyer I interviewed, is saying, that find a way to get temporary shelters into the old city. Like, can you get them in through Newgate? Can you get them in through wherever you can get them through, to get them in? Like, why not Zion Gate? Why not wherever there are these holy sites, and or just the residents in general, get them in there. So anyway, so that was the big controversy of the day. And honestly, like, that, I think, got more media time in the first couple hours of the day than the war itself. Like, that was unbelievable. Like, it was, people were spinning, like the channels were here. Tony, can you respond to Raya? She's supposed to be home 25 minutes ago. It went wild, like, through all the channels, through all of the like a bunch of WhatsApp groups that I'm in. And then I checked on Twitter, and of course there it went, the platform formerly known as Twitter, they went a little bit ballistic there. And until it took a couple hours for the police and for government officials to actually respond. And I mean, this is a big deal. Like, this Pizza Bala has been in Jerusalem for between 20 to 30 years. He speaks Hebrew as well, and he is really well liked. He very carefully navigates the fine line between the politics and also just the heart of the church. And so he does a good job staying, maintaining, like, neutrality in many ways, especially like in dealing with the Israeli government, because the Israeli government more or less controls the status quo for these holy sites. But on the other hand, he also went to Gaza as soon as he could, and he visited the Catholic Church there and blessed the congregants. He spent a couple hours with them, and so he, really is well liked and well respected in this country. So, or by all the peoples in this country, because he's representing the Christians. He's also dealing with the Muslim leaders. He's dealing with the Jewish leaders in Israel, and so for this to happen to him was very shocking, especially for the people who live here and for who cover the situation here. So anyway, all right, are you guys with me? Because now I am done with the news. Unless there are any questions, I'm going to move on from the news. And I've got something. This is not a present from Iran. And it's not a present, but very exciting. I almost feel weird doing this. I'm going to do it because it's like it's live. This is live. This is going to happen. It's going to happen.
No.
All right. All right. Brace yourselves. Do you see what this is? All right. But now look, there's no label on here. And very exciting for me is that this is from it's not for you, excuse me. This is from a Christian winery. It's a new blend that they're trying out. And when I was in the Old City the other day, somebody said, "Hey, why don't you take this home and taste it? Let us know how it is." And it's like not even labeled. It's called, I think, Blind Blend, but it's rubbing off, and it's made for this winery. So here is something very interesting. And now we're totally off the path of war right now, entirely. But there are a number of Christian wineries here in the Holy Land, or winemakers. Now, Christians, as among the Israeli population, Christians are only 2%. Among the Palestinian population, Christians are only 1%. So we're talking like really small numbers. And of course, I was going to say, like, if the Palestinians are making wine, it's only the Christians. It wouldn't be the Muslims. So we're talking about not a lot. And yet I can probably name a dozen wineries around the country from this very small population. And I don't know if you are familiar with Israeli wine or the Israeli wine industry, but it has evolved over the last 2 decades, and it's gotten really good. And so now the Palestinian land is like the same, right? Like it's the same land, it's the same air. And I would say the Palestinian industry is like, it's a couple of years behind. There are some that are like more advanced than others. And oh, wait, I just want to pop this up. Callie is late, but that's all right, Callie. The best is yet to come. And how was baseball? You didn't get rained out? And Janice from Ohio. Okay, good to see you guys. Thank you for joining. So, okay, so I'm just talking about this unlabeled bottle that they are testing a new blend, and I am going to get to test it. And I told you I have a surprise, but I can't share it with you. I'm so sorry. Unless if you're Lydia, you can come running over now. If you're Lydia, if you're still on, you can come running over. So, well, Callie, you could too. Oh, Walter. Hey, Walter, happy Palm Sunday. All right. So, very strong smell out of the gate. Okay. So, apparently, well, I know it has to breathe, but first I'm still getting this.
You still have another 30 minutes to talk?
No, I don't have another 30 minutes. You didn't get rained out, but you watched an interception over the Negev from your field. Here's Callie's report from baseball. Unbelievable. Guys, in the meantime, while I open this bottle, you know what I'm going to do? Happy Palm Sunday. All right, I'm going to show you how. Now, mind you, I told you I was like in the midst of breaking news and trying to finish this article, and everything was crazy. And then what happens? The phone blasts, and I was out, and everybody's phone blasts like blah blah blah, alert. And I was like, all right. I took my time trying to find the shelter. I kind of knew where there was a shelter because it was where my son Daniel was at school. So I was like, all right, I'll go there. But the front door was locked. Anyway, now I'm going to make you watch it and then I'll open this, and then it's about 2 minutes. I don't know where there's a shelter. I mean, I could follow those people, but I'm going to Daniel's school, which is around the corner. I tried to go through the front door, but it's locked. That's the way I came out of. Some people don't care, like this person. But it's the most. I am not going to make it in 90 seconds to Daniel's school. Oh. As you can see, there's not much you can do if you are
that was 90 seconds.
Caught outside or in a car, in a bus, and if you don't know, holy crap, there's a lot of interceptions going on. So,
Yep.
but I tried to get through there. There's a door over there, and I couldn't, so I had to go all the way around. In any case, here we are.
You're supposed to already be inside by this point.
Oh my God. And it's raining. Hello? Asher Dani. רצתי, את לא יודעת כמה. היי.
Nama.
Okay. All right. So that was my 2-minute sprint. I used to run a lot. I even ran a marathon. I used to run half marathons and all that. But then I had torn ligament or cartilage in my hip. And ever since the surgery, I haven't fully recovered and done my physio and whatever. So that was cardio I'm not used to getting. So anyway, my reward, here is my reward, is that I am going to get to taste a blend that has never been produced before. They're testing it out, and it is from this winery, which is, let me find a good one. I'm finding you a link. This is not the link. This is not the link I meant. Oh, I'm going to show you the Facebook one. Okay, I couldn't find a website for them. Domain Cassis. It is from Berzeit, which is, where is that? Like outside Jerusalem, outside Ramallah, like between Jerusalem and Ramallah, something like that. What? Yeah. Okay. That's what. Okay. So here it is. Domain Cassis is a small vineyard winery family business located at Berzeit town, which is nestled in the hills of the Terra Sancta, close to Jerusalem. Wow, look at this. Now that I'm checking out their pictures, why have I not gone? Anyway, so you can see it's really cool. Oh, there's probably an article. That's so cool. Okay. And yeah. So anyway, here you go. Domain Cassis. And now we are going to check it out. So first of all, obviously it might have to breathe. Doesn't smell like it's gone bad or anything. All right. So let's check out the color. What do you guys think of the color? That's a nice color. It's red. It's a very red color. Okay. And granted, it needs to breathe. It will need to breathe. However, you can always tell something from the
You got
taste.
insurance, right? Yeah, you got insurance. You're good.
You talk to Saeed, and if not.
Yeah, I'll talk to him. You don't like it.
No, that is not true, Tony. Okay.
Yeah, I can see from your face.
It is. It still needs to breathe.
Okay.
It is very fruity, peppery. It's got a lot of pop. It's got a lot of pop. Yeah.
Fruity does go on like fruity.
By the way, Daniel he was glad to see me, but he wasn't scared. Thank God, he was okay. And it was like so loud in that shelter that they didn't even hear the sirens, so they're good. Okay, and Kim is saying field trip needed to this winery next time I'm in town. Yes, so hurry up and get here. And as Emily says, wars and wine, because one should not be waged without the other.
2 W's.
All right, so this, I do not know what the grapes are, but I am going to guess that it's more in the vein of like Merlot than the dries. Like it's not the heavy dries. It's more like the fruity non-dries. Are you guys jealous? Tony, you want to try it?
No, I'm good.
You're the only one who can.
But I'm good.
You're the only one who can if you want.
You know,
All right.
I'm not like you. Like I make people jealous on. You know, that's not nice.
I'm actually, wow, you know what? This is part of my reverse sponsorship. I'm reverse sponsoring Domaine Cassis. Now everybody's going to want to go there. I already have like, a couple people signing up for their next trip. They're going to put it on the list. And meanwhile, speaking of reverse marketing, or, instead of getting sponsorship, I should tell you about Tony has launched his website, which is like not just his mother's shop, Zion Gate Gift Shop, but also selling handmade, custom made, exclusive goods. For instance, the Armenian pottery, not the kind that you've seen in the old city, but the kind that is made in a studio, each one handmade, like designs, like created from start to finish, and like hours of drawing and work, and then they put it in the fire and glaze it, put it in the fire, and amazing stuff. So his business, which he decided, I'm just going to launch it during the war because there's nobody here. It is, first of all, the thought was to help out his mom, who has a physical shop, but has been basically suffering for the past 6 years from COVID, and then wars, just where there's no tourists and everything's closed.
So I have
and then so to be able to sell her stuff, we never got that off the ground. But then also he wants to give a platform to other artists that haven't been able to sell their stuff because there's no people coming in. So for instance, if you have like a ministry or an organization and you want to do like a custom, like you want your logo or a saying on like an olive wood box or on an Armenian ceramic, hand painted ceramic, that can be done. So it's not like walking through the old city and just getting like the regular stuff that they're mass producing, but it's like somebody is making it for you. So I see that Tony put
I'm trying to put a link, but
he put the link in Facebook, but now we've got to put it in YouTube. So anyway, you could check it out. And then you could also check this out. So the smell is really good. The smell is really good, which to me says that once it opens, the taste is going to be even better. So, but I do feel it's probably young. but it's definitely, it's all in the right direction. This is really, wow. Cheers. Oh my God. Cheers. Just like I do in the morning update, but that's really coffee. Sometimes the cup is empty because by the time I got to video, I was like, oh my God, my cup's empty. What do I do? But yeah, but this cup's not going to be empty for a little while. Thank you,
I'm gonna try.
God. Tony, send me the link so I can put it here in the YouTube.
Well, I'll send it to you. See if it actually works, because I don't understand why every time I try to put a link on your live, it doesn't work.
All right, so I'll just do it because we're waiting too long.
Wait, here we go. I sent it to you. See how you can.
All right, I'm gonna get this from Tony and see if I have the link. Okay. Well, guys, oh no, wrong one. All right. So there's the link. All right.
Yes, I think that works.
Yes. Awesome. All right. Thank you all for joining. I mean, it's not taken for granted that even on a holiday that people would be able to tune in. So I really appreciate it. Of course, here it's not a holiday, even though it is a holiday. It's just not the feeling of a holiday. In any case, my kids had school and they had this and that, whatever. So even if there was church to go to, it's like regular life just goes on because like the state of Israel is on the Jewish calendar anyway, and there's schools and everything, and then also work and whatever. So you've got to navigate like how to do life here and how to do your holidays and everything like that. So anyway, just a very interesting and bizarre day and a little bit non-war related, and we're going to end it like that. As long as there's no launches from Iran at Jerusalem, we're going to end it like this. So I probably jinxed it. All right. Thank you so much for joining.
We jinxed it.
Happy Palm Sunday and hopefully happier Easter for the Catholics and Protestants next week, and hopefully a little bit of a glimmer of hope for the Orthodox Easter. And there will be Passover somewhere in between. So stay tuned and I'll be back for more updates.